Now, there's something that I didn't quite go over last time when creating a new world. When you create a new world, you actually have the choice of giving yourself a bonus chest. Now, for someone who's new to the game, it actually might be worth doing this because when you spawn in, you will actually spawn in with just a little chest. It won't be too far away. That's actually a good spawn. But you'll spawn with a little chest with some torches, and you'll just have some stuff in here to help you get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to Minecraft, whatever I'm calling this thing again. Survival experience, survival exploration, survival guide, I don't know, it's something. But I'm here to teach you about the game and playing it. Now, I'm gonna ditch my old place. If you remember, if you watched in the last episode, I made a little dwelling in a little place over there, but I think I'm just gonna ditch it because I didn't have anything too important there, and I want to live more around this area. So I'm gonna just create a little hobbit hole for myself here, just to temporarily get my bearings straight. And home sweet home. It's real lively in here, isn't it? I'm gonna bring in my crafting table from inside of here, place that down here. I'm actually gonna have to make a new furnace, put that into here, but luckily now that I have a lot of coal, I can kind of ditch this charcoal a little bit. It was kind of useful for cooking some things, but now I'm primarily just going to be using some coal to be cooking things. Now, coal and charcoal have the same purpose inside the furnace. They both smelt 8 items, and yeah, all that jazz. Now, something you might find interesting is they also have this in the furnace, which is basically just the same thing but for smelting. So, making cooked chicken, cooked mutton, iron ingots. You could even make stone, which I haven't gotten into. Stone is the objects that we're mining, but you'll notice when we mine them, they actually turn into a different kind of stone. They turn into this cobblestone. It's slightly different, and you might find that annoying, but, well, we're a little bit used to it by now. But if you wanted to actually make that stone again, you can just smelt some stone like this. Now, I got some iron from the furnace. Now, what I can do with it actually is make yet another upgrade. I can make an iron pickaxe. We're not... Oh, maybe we are going to get a thing for it. But, yeah, upgrade your iron pickaxe. It is right down here. Now, you notice when I did that, it actually branches off into some more things. You can see the next advancement as well as the advancements afterwards. Now, as we keep advancing through here, we'll find more and more enchantments, but I'm sorry, not enchantments, advancements. But you'll kind of have to advance through these to be able to find more, and I'm not really gonna be looking through here as much because I know what really I need to do and what I'm looking for, and I'm just gonna kind of show you what to do. Oh, I'm making more stone than I wanted to. Whoops. But yes, you'll see actually if I place this stone, this is the exact texture and stuff that we have been breaking. I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, I'm actually starting to run low on wood. I might need some more wood. We're going to place down another chest and put some things in it. Oh, it's becoming nighttime again. I don't have enough wood for what I wanted to do. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over here real quick. Yeah, I'll have to do this quick before all the mobs start showing up. But I can come over here real quick and we can swim through this water. And we can cut down this birch tree. Now, you might notice something, which is that if we make wood out of these, they're actually different kinds of wood. And that's very important, actually, is that you can have different styles of wood in the game. Different styles of wood have different looking doors, trapdoors, boats, and so on and so forth, which you're going to see in a second, actually, because I kind of desperately need to make a door for my little dwelling. We're going to just make a little birch door for ourselves. There we go. And we can open it and close it. And actually, something you might find interesting is you see the hinges are, whoops, the hinges are to the left. Now, if you didn't want that to happen, all you have to do is just while you're placing the door, put the door on the right side of the block, and the hinges will face to the right of the block. So depending upon, you know, how you want your space to look, you can do that, which I know can be confusing because sometimes people want to have like double doors. Oh, but you know, I guess that'll work. I was gonna showcase that if you put it down here, that you will have two doors that will open up this way, but I guess they actually made a change so that if you do make double doors, they will actually just, you know, put it on the right hinge for you. We'll put our doors in here. So, one thing that we need is food. Now, I have some food in my inventory, but it's not the most reliable sort of food because I'm not always going to be able to find pigs. You know, you might be able to kill off your population, and when they're gone, they're kind of gone, at least for a little while. So what I'm going to show you is some farming. Now, there's a bunch of these little grasses around the place. Now, if you break a grass, you have a chance of finding, oh, there we go, some seeds. So these are some wheat seeds. I'm gonna try to get more wheat seeds, as much as I can at least. There we go, that's not a bad haul. I got 12 wheat seeds. And now we'll get more wheat seeds as we continue, or we'll get more wheat seeds as we farm, but you'll just have to wait and see for later. So farms are, they're not necessary, but they are kind of nice to have. They're just little ways of getting more food that you didn't have before. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a hoe. We can make that with 2 sticks and 2 pieces of either wood, cobblestone, iron, or diamonds once we get diamonds. Or gold even. If you wanted to make a golden hoe, you could. Now, what we do with this hoe is actually, if we come around here, oh, hi, that is that's an Enderman. We don't really want to deal with them right now. They're friendly creatures unless you look at them, in which case they get kind of mad and upset at you. But, oh, yeah, there he is. He's just holding the grass block, because that's what they do. So, you gotta be very careful. You do not want to look at this Enderman, or else he will become hostile and try to attack you. Now, onwards with farming. Farms need some important things. First, they need either dirt or grass, and they need water. Well, they technically don't need water, but it's good to have water because if you don't have water, you'll ruin your crops a little bit. As confusing as that might be, you'll kind of see what I mean later. So I'm actually going to bring this water in a little bit. I'm going to create some trenches. Now, it's best to make these trenches with something like a shovel, just because that will mine dirt pretty efficiently. You don't have to really worry about it so much. But now that we have a couple trenches, what we can do is we can use our hoe, right-click, and we'll create some soil. If we kind of do this all the way around, we will have a little patch of land where we can grow stuff from. Now, I picked up some flint. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but yeah, so we can plant these wheat seeds by holding right click, and you just want to plant as many as you can. Now you can see some of these soils are turning Squid just died behind me. Some of these soils are turning brown. Some of them are still not brown. Eventually, all of these will become brown just because they're next to water. That just means that they have enough water nearby that they are fertilized. One important thing to note is that your soil is a little bit sensitive. You'll notice if I jump on this block right here, it will actually break your soil and give you your seed back. Now, it's important not to do this because you want your seed to grow into wheat. Other mobs can potentially try to trample your crops, like skeletons or zombies or sometimes even spiders, because they will just jump away at your farm, and you want to be careful about that. They won't try to actively do it, but there's a chance that they could, so it could be worth fencing off your little area over here, but it's not completely necessary. So what's important about these is that they take time to grow. Now you'll notice that these ones right here are slightly larger than these are actually in their second stage of growing. Now, I believe there's either 4 or 5. There actually might even be 6 stages of growing to wheat. But, you know, you won't be able to actually harvest the wheat until it reaches its final stage, which can take a while. I'm actually going to take these ink sacs real quick since, you know, they're a little bit rare. There's a bunch of salmon here. Salmon are actually a really good source of food, too. I'm actually thinking about just taking a couple of these guys. Come here. Now you'll notice actually while I'm swimming to try to get these salmon that I have a little bubble meter right there. Now I'll kind of show what happens if you sit too long in the water. Basically it's your oxygen meter, and once you run out of oxygen, you're gonna slowly start taking some damage, and well, that's really not good. You don't want to be taking damage underwater. And here we go. You'll notice we're actually taking quite a lot of damage, so just resurface as soon as that happens, just so that you're not having to deal with that. And as you saw, our bubble meter slowly went back up. I'm gonna eat some food to get my health back. So I got some raw salmon with me. Now you can eat these just the same as you can with, you know, raw anything, but like I said earlier, it's actually better to cook these in a furnace. So we're gonna grab some coal and we're just gonna slap some stuff in here. Now, something important about furnaces is, you know, you can kind of learn how much one thing smelts for. So a stick will smelt half of an object. So if you smelt 2 sticks, you'll smelt 1 object. However, birch planks, or really any kind of planks, will smelt 1.5 objects, whereas coal will smelt 8 objects. So in my head, I kind of try to think about how efficient I can be while smelting. So I might do something like this. I'll put a stick in, I'll put an oak plank in, so the stick will smelt half of this, and then the plank of wood will smelt 1.5. So I equivalently have 2 things to be cooked. And then I might add in the coal, because after the stick and the wood, I will only have 8 objects left, and that will only take up 1 piece of coal. Now that's not something you need to do, but that's something that I kind of like to do, and that's something I actively think about while I'm smelting things. Wow, it's already becoming dark. I'm actually going to make some shears real quick. Shears are important. I'm going to show you why in a second, but I'm making these shears because in the last episode when I killed those sheep to make a bed, technically I didn't have to kill them to make that bed. I could just as easily right click and shear them, and I could get their wool. Now don't worry, their wool will grow back over time, but I needed wool last episode and I didn't have any iron, so I just killed them. Ooh, there's a skeleton right there. We gotta be careful about him. I'm a little bit worried that I might be too close to be able to sleep. Okay, good, I wasn't actually. Oh, another day, another morning, and you can see actually, ooh, skeletons actually have bows and arrows, and they will try to shoot at us, but ow. I was about to say I'm a dodge master, and he cannot hit me. Ooh, close one, bud. Ooh, not quite. Now that he died, you can see he actually dropped some bones. Bones are actually kind of cool, because bones are a little bit important to agriculture, and it's actually cool that he did that and he died for me right there, because now I can showcase these. So if you actually craft bones into bone meal can also be then crafted into white dye, but we're not going to get into that right now. Bone meal actually has its own purpose for farming, which I think is very, very important. Now, if you right click on a crop with bone meal, it will advance a stage. Now, actually, since I right click this, this is the most advanced piece of wheat we have in our farm. If we right click this again, it will actually update it again into its last and final piece of its last and final stage, I should say. So if we hit this, you can see actually we have some wheat, but we also have seeds. And not only do we have seeds, but we have 3 seeds. So we actually got more out of this than what we started with. And that's not because of the bone meal, that's because of how this works. But I'm gonna be turning this into as many things as I can. Right now I have 2 wheat. Ooh. Now, like I said with farming, is that it's a good way to get more food if you don't have food, but we're actually doing pretty decent on food right now. But something you can do is you can make bread with the wheat. You need 3 wheat. I only have 2 wheat, but I wanted to show that you can do that, and it fills 2.5 of these little chicken nuggies. But since we have an adequate amount of food, and we even have more food. Oh, we have more food stashed away in the other base. Maybe one of these days I'll go back and I'll actually get that. But wheat actually serves a second purpose, which I think is arguably maybe a little more important. Now for this, I'm actually probably going to need a little bit more wood, so I'm going to be right back. I'm going to mine some real quick. Wherever the nearest trees are. I'm guess those. Oops. So I accidentally used my shears right there, and I accidentally sheared some of these leaves. Now, that's actually kind of cool, is that you can shear leaves, you can get the leaf blocks, whereas if you didn't have the shears, tried to break them, you wouldn't be getting the blocks. You would just be getting possibly one of the other objects that they give. I actually think I might take some of these leaves with me just because I like the look of them. Oh, okay. So that's awesome. Something I spotted while I was getting some trees is some of that sugarcane over there. I'm actually gonna go over and I'm gonna get it. Now, I actually, truth be told, I found this in the last episode as I was walking over here, but I didn't want to pick any of it up because I wanted to showcase it to you while I was doing some farming. So this is something that actually grows, and if you break one of the stems and just leave one of them, this will actually slowly grow over time. However, I'm actually gonna take this, I'm gonna relocate it over by my house, and this is up to you whether or not you want to do this. You can either leave a couple of these around and just take like 1 or 2 and plant them over by your house, or you can take all of them and take them over by your house. I'm actually going to leave 1 just in case I somehow do manage to lose these. I always have this as a backup, but it's good because our house is actually right here. Now what you can do with the sugarcane is you can plant it, but you might be able to notice I'm trying to right click right now and I can't click on any of these. That's because sugarcane actually needs water. It needs at least 1 block of water on any side of this block. I shouldn't say any side. It actually can't be diagonal. It has to be adjacent to the block that you're planting the sugarcane on. But you'll see as this goes over time, this will slowly grow and we can expand our sugarcane empire. Now, sugarcane is important because we can do things with it like make paper or make sugar, which we can then use to make cakes and pumpkin pies or just stuff like that. And that's good actually. This actually grew into another thing. Now I only actually got 1 wheat seed from that, and that does occasionally happen. I believe you get 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 5 pieces of seeds when it grows, but we actually have enough wheat to make some bread. But I don't know if I necessarily want to make some bread right now. I want to do something else with the wheat instead. Now I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm actually going to take this bed because I want to do something interesting. I want to dye my bed. Now I have a black bed. I made that with some of the squid ink that I have. It doesn't serve any purpose. It's more aesthetically pleasing. I just prefer a different colored bed other than white, and black is what I had right now, so that's what I chose to choose. But what I actually came in here for was to make some wood. Now, if you shift and click, you'll actually make every kind, or you'll make every piece of whatever that you're currently making. Now, I made almost 4 stacks of planks. Now, something I didn't mention is that you can kind of notice that everything in here stacks up to 64. After 64, it creates a new space in your inventory. That is just because of, early in the days, Mojang, I guess maybe to make coding simple, made it so that you can only stack certain objects up to 64. Now, some objects can actually only be stored up to 16, or you might be only to have, or you might only be able to have one object. So like a shovel, I can't have 2 stone shovels occupying the same space. But we'll get into some more of that later on. For now, I needed to actually craft a couple things with these. So I'm trying to get some fences because I need, well, some fences. I'm gonna try to get some different kinds of animals. I'm gonna make as many as I can, which isn't a lot, but there we go. That's a pretty decent amount. Maybe I'll grab one more. And wow, it's already starting to get dark. I don't quite want to do this at night, but I'll show you real quick because I got some saplings from over there. We can actually plant these saplings around our base. And now, suddenly, we have a renewable source of wood next to our house just by cutting down some trees and relocating them. These will slowly grow over time, but what's interesting is with the bone meal that I had, we can also bone meal these and they can grow up just that way too. I'm gonna go to sleep real quick though. Alright, it's another beautiful morning and I think it's time. I need a little more reliable source of food, and as well as food, I kind of just want the companionship of some animals. Maybe that sounds a little bit wrong, but I didn't intend it that way. So we're going to make a little animal pen. Now we can do this because we made some fences. Now they don't necessarily have to be fences. You could actually just, make some blockades and block some animals in, but it's more stylistic if you actually use some fences. So I'm just gonna go around the place and fence the place up, and notice I actually made a fence gate too. This is something we can interact with. If we right click it, we can open it and we can freely move through it, whereas we can also close it and we cannot. This is a good way of keeping your animals in while letting yourself out. Now, how are we gonna get some animals into here? Well, I saw some cows. Yes, there's some cows over here. Cows are gonna be very important for later in the game, but also if you kill a cow, you get maybe the best piece of food in the game, or at least for early on. You get a piece of steak, which is incredible. It has great saturation and will keep you lasting for a while. Now you might have noticed when I actually hold out these pieces of wheat, these animals get a little bit interested in me. And in my opinion, maybe a little too interested for my taste. But they will actually follow us if we have some wheat with us. So we're actually going to try to bring... I wasn't looking for the sheep, but I'll take the sheep. We're going to bring as many of these animals as we can with us and relocate them into our little pen area. Now, we might have to expand this a little bit. Nope, I guess that worked out. Oh, he just came in from the top. So, whatever floats his goat. So, now that we have some cows in here, I'm going to show you how to breed animals. Now, breeding animals is kind of important because it's a good way to get a good source of food. Now, wheat can be turned into bread, and that's okay. But really, if you kill some animals and get their meat and cook it, that's going to be some of the best source of food in the game. However, if you kill some animals, well, you won't have them for later. So a good use is with your wheat, you can actually right click on two different animals, well, two of the same animal, and you can see little hearts form, and we get an achievement, which is the parrots and the bats. Breed two animals together, and you might be able to see down here a little bit, there's actually a little baby cow. Now that's cool. He's going to take a little bit to grow up. However, if we try to kill one of these cows, you'll notice we'll get some good stuff. I'm gonna try to leave. We get some raw beef and we get some leather. Now that's kind of the important part of cows is leather, as well as their beef, because their beef's really good. But what's important to know is that if you try to kill a baby of any animal, doesn't have to be a cow, but if we kill this baby cow, we won't get any of that. We won't get any leather, we won't get any raw beef. I don't even think we get experience for killing it, which we would normally get experience for killing the cow. Oh, that's good. We can actually get a second piece of wheat right here. Now, I think I actually can't breed these guys because I killed... Well, maybe I can. No, I can't. I actually just wasted a piece of wheat there. Whoops. Killed the wrong cow. But, yeah, as you can see, I'm not able to click on any more of these cows because they just made a little baby. And when they make a little baby, they need time to relax. They can't just immediately go on to another baby making process. They have to take time for themselves. And likewise with this baby, he has to wait until he's a grown-up to be able to do some of that baby making action. Babies will generally take around, I think, 20 minutes to actually grow up, but something interesting is if you feed them their specific type of food, you can see those green particles, they'll grow up a little bit faster. I think it increases it by, I feel like 2 minutes. So, I mean, you know, instead of a 20-minute wait, we have an 18-minute wait now or something like that. So, I mean, the more food you feed them, the faster they'll grow up. But I don't really have that much food. I'm still kind of waiting on them a little bit. So, I'm back in our little dwelling. I mentioned something earlier that different kinds of wood will create different kinds of doors, as well as trapdoors and stuff like that. And I wanted to show you. So, if we grab these doors, you can actually see the oak door has a different texture than the birch door. Whoops. And now every different kind of wood has their own style door, and they all look very unique. So it might be worth going out and exploring, trying to find, say, some dark oak or some spruce or some acacia, finding your type of wood that will match your house better. I'm actually quite enjoying the birch door that we have here, so I'm going to keep it. I'm actually going to use these oak doors for something else later. Oh, alright, trees are growing. Oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot of trees growing. You can actually see this one grew into a massive tree. That can actually happen with the oak, an oak sapling. There's a somewhat small chance that it will grow up into a large tree like this. Now, large trees are actually kind of good because they give you a lot of wood. Now, I don't really like them as much because they're honestly kind of a pain to try to chop down. And that's honestly kind of the problem that most people have with them, is that they just take too much effort to chop down. Because, you know, you have to go up them and just get rid of all the wood. And right now, this honestly isn't too bad, but if I was just on this level trying to mine up, you know, whoops. I can't reach that block up there, so I'm going to have to block up and get this piece of wood now and then block down, and that's just too much effort for me. So I typically don't like these trees that much, but that's just my personal preference. So we're actually doing pretty decent right now. We have ourselves a small little animal farm. We have a small little wheat farm right here, which I can plant a couple more seeds, which is slowly growing into stuff like that. What I'm thinking is, I want some storage for outside, but I want some more neat storage. I don't want to make like a chest. I want to make a barrel. Now, barrels are kind of neat because they don't use as many materials as chests, whereas a chest is 8 blocks of wood. A barrel is a little bit less. It's 6 blocks of wood. I didn't mention these actually. These are oak slabs. I made them by putting 6 of these in. I'm sorry, putting 3 of these in, and I get 6 oak slabs out. Oak slabs are interesting because they're half of a block. Now you can kind of notice that it is half a block. You can actually step on them and make a little staircase for yourself. Now you can actually make stairs in a different way, like this, and you know, those are kind of neat. They'll serve a similar purpose of just stepping up a block instead of having to jump up a block, but you know, oak slabs have their own purpose. You can also stack oak slabs and whatnot, and oak slabs are good because a llama. Ooh, you know what? Forget what I was about to say. We have. He just decided to make himself home, didn't he? Okay. We have a wandering villager, or a wandering trader. Now, a wandering trader isn't going to have too much of a purpose for us right now, just because, well, you can see he will trade us things for emeralds. We don't have any emeralds right now, so we can't buy anything off of him. But also, none of these are all that great trades anyway. But he also has some llamas. Oh, he's sipping on some brew. That's actually an indicator that it's becoming nighttime. If we try to fall asleep, we'll actually be able to fall asleep. Open the door and let the llama in. This place is way too cramped with all these llamas. Now, oh jeez. Okay, you know what? That's fine. They can kind of live here for a little while. I actually just want to get back into what I was discussing earlier, which is that I wanted some inventory outside. And I'm going to do that in the form of barrels. Now, if you plop this barrel down, you can see it looks kind of cool, but it also acts as an inventory. Now, this has the same amount of space as a chest does. However, it costs less than a chest to actually make. As you saw, it takes slabs instead of full blocks. So it's actually a good way to conserve your wood if you kind of need it early on in the game. This is actually kind of awesome because our wheat's growing up very, very nicely. But yeah, I can put the wheat in here. I can put the seeds in there if I had extra seeds. I feel like this is just going to become my little bit of an organic chest. I just want to have just organic things in here. And I'm going to put my shears in there because they're slightly organic. I shear sheep with them. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, right in front of our eyes, actually. So that's cool because like I said earlier, the sugarcane will grow just as long as you have one of these stems available. Now, they can grow up to 3 blocks tall. They can't grow any higher, but they can actually have a chance of spawning 4 blocks tall. But what's good is you can just break off the middle piece and then just put some more down, and then these will grow. So you kind of exponentially expand your farm as they keep growing. Later, I kind of want a more automated way of farming these instead of just, you know, having to come out and break these, but we don't really have those kinds of tools yet. For now, we're just kind of getting our bearings straight, trying to make some simple farms. The sun sets on our brave morning, or our brave day, and I think the sun sets on our episode, and you can see actually as the sun sets, he's gonna go invisible. Funnily enough, actually, if we find him, you might be able to see him because of the particles that he emits. Oh, he's right here. You can actually still trade with him. He is right here, but he's just invisible. But yes, I'm going to call it here for the day. We did some pretty decent progress. We made some wheat, or we grew some wheat. We found a pen for some cows. We got some sugarcane. And we learned a little bit. So I'm gonna have a little snoozy poo, and thank you for watching. Again, I don't know how to end this, so goodbye.